Reunion. So let me bring in Sister Margaret. Hi, Sister Margaret.
Hi, Molly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great today. Thank you.
How are your fellow sisters doing now that we're 3 months into the physical distancing?
It's amazing. Everyone's doing fine, and obviously we're being very cautious and very hopeful for when this is going to end, but we're realizing more clearly every day that this is not going to be soon. Um, so we're really doing well, checking in with each other to make sure everyone is fine, everyone has enough food that they need, and it's also checking in with our sisters who live outstate, because most of them are living in hotspots like Pennsylvania, Colorado, Grand Island, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. And so frequent phone calls to them to make sure they're doing okay and how they're coping. So we've had good contact along the way and hope to continue that as we go. We had one sister die in this time of COVID, Sister Christine Eliash, who was 100 years old. And then to adapt to not being able to have services for her was very difficult. But we had phone conferences, and we also had Zoom conferences where we could share memories. And I think that helped the sisters with the grieving process a little bit. So we'll do a memorial here in Omaha, where she lived in her retirement and also taught at Assumption and St. Teresa's. And then we'll have a memorial in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is her hometown, and where she ministered most of her life and where she's now buried. So the other thing that I'm kind of noticing with the sisters in this time is we seem to be a little freer about talking about our feelings and how this COVID makes us anxious at times. How we have to be cautious about our own health because all of us are vulnerable adults. And so not taking things for granted, but following the guidelines of the CDC and our governor and our mayor and our housing. And I think that has all paid off. And now with the unrest, the racial unrest in the nation, in the whole world, it's changing the nature of our prayer, and I think our world has become, in both of these instances, our world has become huge. And we realize how the world is networked. If one person loses a job or a business has to close, that trickles down to many, many others. And, the price of groceries going up. And there's just so much that is affected in lots of different ways. And I think we're becoming more aware of how globally connected we are. It was there already, but this is hitting us home really hard, and I think so that we keep that awareness.
It's the alumni reunion, and we are celebrating the class of 1970, which has its 50-year reunion right now. Mm-hmm. And I spoke with some of the graduates of that class, and they reminded me that you had a different name when you were at Notre Dame Academy in 1970.
My name was, when I first entered the community, I took the name Phyllis. The class of 70 was one of my favorite classes. I came in when they were sophomores, and they were an absolute delight. And they were very cohesive with each other, and I know that they've tried to maintain that through the years. They were fun, they were challenging, and I was able to teach them something in their sophomore, junior, and senior years. So we became quite close during that time. So I'm going to miss seeing them.
Of the group? Do you have any specific memory of the group or of the?
Well, first of all, their gentle presence with each other and their support of each other. And I've seen that extend through the years as I meet them in different places. But I remember I taught American literature to them as sophomores. And we wanted to try a debate. So I divided the class into two sections. And I remember Kathy Tilsky particularly being the strong voice in that. And she was able to convince the other side what she was, and I can't remember what the argument was about. It had to be a piece of literature. but I thought, oh boy, she's going to be maybe a lawyer. I don't know if she ever became a lawyer, but and you know, they could wrangle with each other, and yet they could be very peaceful too, with each other. And you know, the whole rituals of proms and then graduation, I felt like I was a part of them in all of that as we planned all that with them. So very personable group.
Can you just paint a little bit of a picture of what it was like to be a sister at Notre Dame Academy when you were teaching there?
Well, it was actually, I came into that first year of teaching having been prepared that summer for teaching high school, because I had been teaching grade school before that. And all of a sudden, I was assigned to Notre Dame Academy, and I said, wait a minute, I haven't taught high school. What do I do about this? So I had a quick class. And I think what happened is that I came to realize more strongly the vision of the school to train women to be strong in society. And I had gone through high school being mentored very well by my principal at the time, Sister Emanuela, and my English teacher, Sister Immaculata, who became Pauline. And I said, I'm strong today because of those teachers, so I want to be strong for these students to help them be strong in whatever they do. So it was like whatever I had been taught in high school, I was trying to give to them through the teaching that I did.